Hi, come on in. Come on in. Hi.
Where should I sit?
Right there, that's good. That's Jim, awesome, absolutely awesome to see you. Citizen, this is Jim Apre, and he owns, I'm sure you've eaten, Vermont Sandwich Companies in Williston and in Burlington. And also he owns, there's a pub next door, so I may check it out, Hornet's Nest Pub. And Jim, this is Agnes Clift.
Hi.
And this is Tom, this is Jim, and our discussion has been about businesses. You are a business owner.
Yes.
And can you tell us, and because we've been discussing Act 250, the regulatory process that businesses go through to be able to be in business, and the economic climate, and how do you feel as your voice, because it's about you. And Citizen, it's about you. How does Montpelier treat you as an entrepreneur, as a dreamer?
As a check writer. I believe I'm treated as a source of funds, a revenue generating center for programs dictated by the government at any level, federal, state, local. We spend a lot of money every year. If I got to just keep the amount of money we pay and generate in taxes, I could have retired by now. There's really no rhyme or reason to it. We get set up so that we write a check to the Department of Health, we write a check to the Department of Taxes, we write a check to the Alcohol Department, we write checks to state government agencies all day long. And then we wait in line for government services. It's rare that I feel like we're ever getting any value of what I'm paying. The other people reap the value, but certainly not the people who are providing.
The other day I was going up on Five Corners, and there was a little girl outside with a lemonade stand. And the only thing I could come up with when I was looking at this little girl with a lemonade stand was, all right, the visual that I had was, here's this girl with a lemonade stand, 50 cents for a glass of lemonade. So take that 50 cents, and if you really scale it down, what is the percentage that goes to the state? If she had to build her stand, so take that stand that this little girl did, and let's say instead she's building, Sunny Lemonade. And so she wants to put up a factory to build Sunny Lemonade. What is the actual percentage that would go into the regulatory process for her to be able to open her doors? How many state agencies would be standing there? And here's this little girl just thrilled that she's making a buck, and which is the entrepreneurial spirit of Vermont, and not only Vermont, but this nation. This nation, it's what it was built on. And yet, if you really took that and you expanded the view of it, and take that little girl as an adult wanting to do the same thing. She's got a dream, and she wants to apply that dream. And yet to have that amount of obstacles in the way of being able to do that. Do you feel as though that is an issue in Vermont?
Oh, it's certainly an issue. I mean, at times it appears that you're writing checks to government agencies to justify the positions that people are showing up to write the checks. Yeah, you know what I mean? You're paying for the service of writing the check. And so you have government employees at every level that somehow have jobs collecting money from you, or somehow are reliant upon entrepreneurs to put the bill for their position. Bureaucrats, anybody that works for the government at any level relies on private sector citizens to write checks, to generate revenue, to generate taxes, and send it to them so they can pay state employees to compete with us. And that makes it very difficult.
Okay. And that's exactly what we were talking about.
We're in competition against our own government because we have to generate our own revenue. We get to keep a small portion. We have to give them their portion, and then they regulate us to a point where they can decide when that's enough or when it's not enough, and they never decide it's enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Tom mentioned earlier that, 131% growth in our government?
Since 1990.
Since 1990. And I think now present, though, in the private sector, there's zero growth.
this past decade, it's been the 0% private
been-
sector job growth.
Private sector job growth, so your job, the private sector, the actual business growth has been 0. And yet the Vermont has grown 131%
Well, no, that's.
in government. Is
Well,
that what you're
That's two
saying?
different, no, that's two different time
No?
periods.
Go ahead.
From 19,
Okay.
what I was saying earlier before you
Okay.
came here, from 1990, roughly a 20-year period, the state spending in total has grown 131%.
Okay,
Inflation
okay.
adjusted dollars.
Yeah.
And private sector job growth during that same 20-year period grew about 21%. And median household income during that time only grew 9.7%. So we're trying to pay, as your point, we're trying to pay
Yeah.
as citizens these taxes that have grown 131% when our incomes are only
growing up
9.7%. So we can't, as you said, we're trying to keep up with paying more and more while our incomes are growing at 13 times less
But what are we
than
getting for the
spending.
money? You're getting more government employees.
Exactly.
That's all you're getting.
And
You're
more-
generating more government employees that have their union, their pensions, the pensions that are in systems that are already built, that we're paying for. We're just throwing money into a big, huge hole and hoping it's not another Ponzi scheme, which it is.
It is a
There's really
Ponzi.
no money left. They just spend as much as they have for today and hope for tomorrow, and hope that we can generate more for tomorrow. You know, but at the same time restricting us at every level, putting more pressure, more regulation, more competition, more, why don't you just raise the minimum wage again? How does that help us? We got thousands of kids out there looking for jobs. It'd be easier to hire 2 kids and pay them each $5 an hour that are entry-level positions than to pay one kid $8 or $9 an hour because the government says that's what he's worth.
Yeah.
It doesn't make
Yeah.
any sense that they're involved in our private business. And they should be running public type, resources or whatever public people do, but they shouldn't be running private businesses. These are not business owners.
Your initial question was whether Vermont is business friendly or not, and I would
Yeah.
say no,
No.
unequivocal no. And you can get into the weeds about Act 250 and
Sure.
the taxations and all the checks you have to write, but if you look at the 60,000-foot level, the culture in Montpelier is all about central planning, right? You always have a competition between the free enterprise system and a kind of a central planning government. And
Yeah.
Vermont is all about central planning. And if you look at the elements of a free enterprise system, it is a set of values and laws that promotes economic growth, right? Respects
Giving
property rights,
opportunities,
individual opportunity.
lifting those types of rules, regulations, behavior management, so that you're able to breathe the opportunity. It's like adding fresh water.
It's all about
It's
money.
like stocking. It's stocking the
If you can't keep
trout in the
resources
pond.
we generate, then it's really not worth doing.
Yeah.
You get to a certain point where, sure, you like to do what you do, but there has to be a point when you work all day that you actually make some money.
Yeah, right.
And you're
Yeah.
not paying 3-to-1 taxes to income. That's really the portion we're in now. For every dollar I make, I pay $3 to either some state, local, or federal agency. And then, as I was told by an attorney for the tax department at one time, that sounds about right.